Hey everybody, this is Jess, aka Sketchwriter Jess. Had something interesting happen to me over the last couple days. Let me start with tonight. I tried uploading something from my phone to my computer, and my computer's not recognizing the file. Also, a bunch of files on my computer. There's these little video files I did. A lot of them are missing. There's even some of my videos that I had made that, the actual drafts are missing. The finals are there. The final videos, I still have the final videos that I formatted and everything, but I don't have the original, clips and stuff. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if something hacked into my computer or what. I don't know if Spirit's playing a dirty trick on me. I have no idea what's going on. But I will tell you this. I believe I found a way to tell if you have a twin flame or not in this lifetime. I'm going to go get my natal chart. I had a little dramatic effect there. You can hear me walking around. Now, I have heard people say do not show your natal chart, but I've been planning on doing astrology readings for my channel because I have an issue with my period. My menstrual cycle is very tough on me every month. Some months it's worse than others, and I've had theories like, well, maybe one ovary is bigger than the other or some weird thing, something medical. But I think it's more likely that there's something with the moon and the planets and how they align, and it pulls on my body. It influences my body and how it works. And I think lots of women go through this. I'm not sure men feel the same kinds of things. I don't really know what they go through, but I don't think they have anything quite like this. But they may still experience some things. I don't know. I don't want to totally count them out. I mean, I'm sure they have their own difficulties. But anyways, I thought I would make a set of moon-centered astrology readings. So they'd be like tarot card readings for moon signs. And then I also have Mars signs, because the Mars sign is all about sex drive, and the period is like a very sexual thing. It's a big, huge part of femininity. So there's a lot of different things. There's been things written by, there's this woman named Christine Northrup. She's written about how periods are, they can kind of denote, creativity. You could, be creative during a period and, make really amazing things and stuff. And let things go, kind of. And, so, I thought having those couple of things would be helpful to everybody. Every woman who goes through a menstrual cycle, whether you get a 3-day one or a 7-day one or even longer, because some of them are longer depending on whether you have other medical conditions. I've had 8-day ones before, but that's before I was diagnosed with hypothyroid, which can make your periods longer. Now that I'm on a thyroid pill, I don't have that happen anymore. But it's a really tough thing to go through. And I thought, if there was some way to make it more spiritual, it was more easy to figure out, then it would be fine, it would work. And maybe, lots of people would feel better, they'd feel like they could really conquer things. They'd be able to manage their time better. One thing that I started doing also is, I'm just going to say it right now. Um, I still think that Jesus was an amazing teacher. I think Christianity as a bare bones religion is really good. However, it's so corrupt now with the way things are, and I think a lot of it is just as superstitious as anything that you can say. Witchcraft is superstitious, and that I've decided that I'm going to be a Wiccan. I don't really believe in witchcraft, and in terms of, like, people put hexes on people, or they certain things, certain rituals that I'm just not into. It's not, there's no devil worship. It's more like I think witchcraft is more about like the art of it, maybe the art of practicing Wicca. But I think I'm more interested in the ritual of, like, the religious part of Wicca. The earth worship, and the intention setting, and putting good vibes out into the universe. So I'm saying it right now on my station. I'm sure I get a bunch of people telling me that I'm wrong. Fine. You want to say that? Fine. But look up Wicca. Look up those things online and see that Wicca is not a bad religion. In fact, there are people buried in the Arlington Cemetery, I guess people that were in the military, who were Wiccans. They have the Wiccan symbol on their grave in Arlington Cemetery. So obviously it was recognized back then. It's a real religion, and you believe in, like, you believe in a God, you believe in a higher power, but you also believe that there's lots of different parts of the higher power. It's not just like one God. It's like a group, like kind of like, like the King Arthur's Round Table, right? The Knights of the Round Table, I think. But there's like that group of people, a group of beings that are making decisions about the big things in life, how to protect the kingdom, that kind of thing. So I think that Wicca is a really beautiful religion. A lot of Christian things are based on paganism. Although I think paganism and Wicca are slightly different. I don't really know the difference, but there's always a lot of superstitions in Christianity anyways. So anyways, I've been doing magic, Magick, and basically magic is when you have like a small altar. You could have any kind of altar, but you have a small altar, and you have items that represent the four elements of the earth plus spirit. So you have one element that represents water, one for fire, one for water, fire, air, and earth, and then you have spirit. That's what the pentagram is about. The pentagram that goes up, the one that has the point that goes up. The ones where they have the point going down, those are crazy people doing Satan worship. Is totally different than Wicca. So like this was a big decision, but I've started doing magic and I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy my life better. I feel like I can go to sleep. Like, there's something about setting the intention and letting the universe take it wherever it's gonna go. I have a spell book. I call it my Book of Light. I don't like calling it the Book of Shadows. It's so it has, everything is about light. It's like letting the light in and sending light out. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know some people, they really like acknowledging the shadows, but I think you can get stuck in the shadow work, and you get stuck in that, and then you like don't move on from it, and that's tough. So now that I've said all that for my family to hear, I know I've got family members that are not going to be happy with this, but you know what? They can just ask me questions, you know? They can just ask me what I do. They don't have to, like, think it's something. I mean, they can just ask me. No, I don't worship the devil. I don't even believe in a devil. And there are other Wiccans who say the same thing. They don't believe in the devil. They believe that the devil's made up in the human mind. We believe in a source, that there's a source energy, and there's certainly, like, darker forces versus forces for good. But, like, to actually say there's, like, a devil and it's doing bad stuff and making people do bad stuff, I don't believe that at all. And I think people have way more control over things than people think they do. You know, the universe has given us free will, so I mean, it's possible for us to make up stuff. You know, and we can make up all sorts of things, and we can also feel things. We can feel things deeply and hurt each other. We have that capability. So, that was a long-winded thing, but now I'd like to show you my natal chart, and I want to tell you why I'm showing this. I've heard people say, do not show your natal chart, but since I'm doing astrology, I feel like it's only fair for me to give you an idea of the things that I think about when I do the readings. So, I don't know if you can see this, but if I turn it this way, there's an X. There's two oppositions here. Oppositions usually denote relationships. As you can see, my Aries, my 10th house, is right across from the 4th house. There's Pluto there. The 4th house is home and family. 10th house is like career and stuff. And so that's there, and the sign there is Libra. And then right next to it, my Venus sign is in my 9th house. And there's a Saturn sign and the North Node in my 3rd house, which is writing communication. And this is all about, like, expanding the writing, sending it out into the world. And these two things cross, and Pluto is a planet that's all about sex and death and rebirth and birth and all sorts of things like that. Religion, spiritual matters. So, to me, I feel like this X is like the twin flame mark. It is proof that I have a twin flame in this lifetime. Now, you're probably going, well, how did you come to that conclusion? Well, something interesting happened to me the other day, and I'm kind of nervous to talk about it because it was so sudden and so fated. And I feel like I've been going to tarot card readers for a couple months, and a lot of times they say, oh, you know, your spirit guides won't let us tell you about love. They don't want you to know anything. And I think the reason why is because they wanted me to find out this way. They wanted me to find out my gift through astrology, and I believe I have proof now. Anyways, something weird happened where I was on my Nook, like a tablet, and my Facebook app was taking up way too much space, like just had too much space. And you know, Facebook is a pain in the butt. I don't really like it. I only have it for business reasons and to keep in touch with my family, old friends from school long ago. And you know, I just don't go on there that often anymore. It's not really my favorite thing. So I was like, oh, I can get rid of that app. You know, I don't care. I'll just go on my browser. And so I go on a browser because I had noticed there were some notifications. I had uninstalled the app to get more space in my Nook. So I went on there and it said, do you want to see this person's page? And it was actually a phone number that I had in my phone from the guy who ghosted me. and it had his last name, and I thought, oh, I don't think this is really him. This is some joke or something. This isn't real. I clicked on it, and sure enough, it was him. And he has a Facebook page, and he has like a nickname. I got to see his last name, and I didn't know his last name until now. And what's very strange is that on social media, he's on Facebook, and his page has like 800 friends, and he has like all these pictures of him and his girlfriend. And he hasn't posted to his Facebook in like 2 years. Like, people are like wishing him happy birthday like every year, and he hasn't posted. It's weird. And then it says he lives somewhere else. And then on another account, like, I looked up his nickname on Instagram, and I found it, and it had like the same pictures of him and his girlfriend. And then it had like other pictures of him and some friends, maybe even some family members, I don't know. And there's a link on there that goes to a YouTube video. The YouTube video has him it's a video from 2014, and he's in there rapping. He's like with this guy, and they're rapping in the video, like rapping like rap music. And I knew it was him because his voice is very distinctive, almost like sort of like a husky voice. I'm like, yeah, that's him. That's him. He still looks like that. Well, what's really funny is that his birthday was on the Facebook page. It was on an About page. It didn't have his year. And even if it did, I wouldn't have done like an astrology chart. That's like bad karma. I wouldn't do that. But I saw his birthday, like, a month and day. And I was like shocked. I was like, oh my God, his sign is Libra. Wow, I thought he was a Cancer. Like, I was so shocked. Like, maybe he has Cancer in his chart or something somewhere. I don't know. Anyways, I was doing the studying today for the moon signs and the Mars signs. I have a nice book that I use. I'll talk about it more another time. And it helps me be real intuitive with it. And I'm writing all the stuff down for all the signs. And then, like, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my natal chart. And it just jumped out at me. It's like, that's it. That's him. That is the twin flame, the Pluto. With all the sex and birth and death and spirituality all wrapped up in one. And then, it was right across my sun sign and my moon sign. And my sun and moon are the same. And it's just so strange that it made like an X. He's right on the cusp, literally. He's born the day that Virgo changes to Libra. So that other mark, the other opposition, goes into the Virgo. I have to say, is really shocking. And I feel like Spirit was like, here you go. You really want to know whether you have a twin flame right now? Here it is. X marks the spot. And I have to say, I probably would not have thought about it too much without the help of Missy from Saltwater Heals Tarot. Now, Missy, you do not have to say anything about me on your channel. You don't even have to contact me. I am just giving you credit where credit is due. She's been channeling for like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months. Ever since I started seeing her, she's been talking about X marks the spot. She may have been channeling before that about it, but I didn't see her until a couple months ago. So, I don't know, she's been saying X marks the spot, and she notices it in cards and stuff. Like cards that she's looked at for years, and like, she's like, I never noticed that before. And she'll point it out. So, Missy, thank you very much for helping me look for something like this. I do feel like her readings do resonate with me. I haven't paid for a reading with her yet. I've only watched her free ones. However, I have bought a bracelet from her. Um, she does these really cool stone bracelets. One I have is called A Star is Born, and I meditate with it every night. I hold it in my hands and meditate with it. Sometimes I wear the bracelet around the house or something, but I usually just like to meditate with it. Um, but she does that. She does like special um, sound vibes or something, and she chants with them or something. She does something to them to give them energy, and it just has a nice quality. Like the beads are good quality, and then like the energy, you can feel the energy on them. So it's very nice, and I like her bracelets. I'm probably more likely to buy more bracelets from her. I probably will have a reading at some point with her. But I'm not sure what to even ask her, honestly. I'm afraid to ask anybody anything anymore because my spirit guides will block it if they don't want me to know. So like, I mean, I'm not going to ask her about love. I don't know. I guess I could ask her about business. I have no idea. Like she talks about business too, so I'm sure my spirit guides wouldn't mind me knowing about business. Um so I just gave that shout out. And Missy, as I said, you do not have to say anything to me about me or anything. I am just giving you credit. Um, so this happened, and this whole thing with this guy has been very strange from the beginning. And all throughout, I have talked about it, but I might as well recap. Since now I found the X marks the spot, maybe if I recap, you guys may look for the same things. So, one thing that I notice about him is he's younger than me. He's probably at least 7 or 8 years younger than me. Could be even younger than that, like in his late 20s, early 30s. I'm 40. I just turned 40, so he's somewhere in that age range. And we have very different backgrounds. Um, we just do. We just have different backgrounds. I don't want to talk about him too much because I don't want to like embarrass him, but he does have a video of himself up. But I'm not gonna say his name or anything. And he he gave me puppy dog eyes one night. Like, actually, let me go back. I had been seeing him at the bar, and I thought, oh, he's, like at first I saw him, I'm like, I don't know, he's just there. He's just this person. He's a bartender, and I'm just like, okay, he's there, and um, okay, and then like, I don't know, a couple times after I saw him, I thought, he's kind of cute. He has a nice smile. I started wondering if he was seeing anybody. And then after like, I don't know, maybe 7 times, I decided to just introduce myself. I gave him a handshake. That's just the way I'm built. Like I give people handshakes. I'm just like formal. And I introduced myself to him. We shook hands, and he was so happy. Like he was so happy to like introduce himself to me, and he was happy to like know my name and everything. It was just really nice, and it felt like I had come home. Like it was like I had like gone and seen family or something that I hadn't seen in years. And like we just like picked up where we left off. So I thought, well, this is interesting. Because usually like if I like a guy and I shake hands or I you brush hands, you're like all like excited, it's like electric, and it's like, oh wow. But this was not like that. This was totally different. This was like, as I said, it was like I came home. It was like like I found a kindred spirit, I guess. Um, so I'm like, I'll see if I can like talk to him, ask him if he wants to go out, hang out, do something. Doesn't have to be like a date. I just thought of like I was trying to think of things we could do that weren't like anything sexual or anything, like just things where we could like be friends for a while or something like that. So the whole time I've been like thinking, well, this is interesting, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if I can get to know him, see what kind of stuff he likes to do on the times he's off, stuff like that. So one night I come in, and he's like really happy to see me, like very happy to see me. And I thought, oh, he's just being nice, I'm sitting there, and I need water. I'm like sitting there and I'm drinking, and I was like, I need some water. I look for him, and he's like this, like the whites of his eyes were showing, and he was just staring at me, and like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I was totally confused because I've never had a guy look at me like that before. I'm like, this is interesting. And I don't know, I started getting all these sexual thoughts and stuff all of a sudden. Okay, it had gone from like thinking, oh, he's kind of cute, to like, wow, oh my god, sexual thoughts. And then I saw him the next time, and I thought, I don't really know much about some of these things because I've never had a relationship. I don't flirt usually. I thought, I'm going to give him puppy dog eyes. And I looked it up to make sure. I looked it up online to make sure I knew what I was doing. And, for women to do it, it's usually like a oral sex type of thing. Like it makes you look like, well, anyways. I'm like sitting there, I ask him to make me a drink that's like a martini, because I wanted a Black Russian that was like a martini instead of being in a glass with ice. And he gave me a glass with ice and a straw. And so I had the drink on the counter, and I had the straw, and I looked at him like this, And at first he looked at me and he was like, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden he was like, and his eyes like went fiery. It was like he had fire in his eyes. It was so weird. And I was like, okay, what is going on here? So I asked him if he was seeing anybody, and he told me his answer, and I went, oh, okay. Like, all right, well, we'll just forget this, like maybe we'll just forget this thing. Maybe this isn't right. So then I go to this thing in the park. It's like a plein air painting thing, and there's this guy that shows up with this girl, and I'm like, he looks familiar. I didn't know the girl, but I was like, he looks familiar. And then these people say, oh, sit down, and they mentioned his name. I'm like, oh, of all the places, he's here. And he starts talking. He's like talking to some kid or something. I don't know who the kid was, but he was talking to the kid, and I heard his voice. I'm like, oh, that's him. That's his voice. So like he's like sitting with his girlfriend, and they're like right there, like very close to the bench that I was sitting on. And here I am at this plein air meetup. I was trying to forget about him. And so I'm there and I'm like drawing, because it's like a landscape painting drawing thing. And like, so I was like drawing with these watercolor pencils. I was drawing palm trees. And all of a sudden, I don't know, I thought he said something, but it was a little weird. I don't want to say anything because I really don't know whether I misheard something. But all of a sudden, he turns and faces his girlfriend. And they start talking, and they're like on their sides, talking to each other. And I'm like, this is awfully weird. Like, I just saw this guy, and he, like, couldn't even say hi, like, hi, how are you doing, or anything. He just did that. So I thought, oh, maybe it's not him, but I was like, it has to be him. That's his voice. So I'm there, and I'm like, this is very weird. Like, I don't know what's going on here. And then, like, there was, like, this critique session. And I go to the critique session with the group, and I come back after it's done. I come back. And when I come back and I turn around to look, see if they're still there, he is there like this. He's like facing me like this, with his arms outstretched. I'm like, no, I can't, I don't know what's going on here. I'm like, I have to be hallucinating this. I have bipolar disorder, so I'm like, this can't really be what I'm thinking it is. Can't be, right? Like, this doesn't make sense. This is just thing I'm imagining. So then, like, I was like, I am not going to go to the bar anymore. I'm just not going to do this. This is stupid. And then, like, I really began to miss him. Like, I remember thinking, if we could just be friends. Like, it'd be nice to just be friends with him. Like, I really like him. He seems like a nice person. Like, kind, genuine person. Like, maybe we're attracted to each other, but we could just be friends, like, and I thought about that. I was like, really, that was honestly my intent. And, so, like, I go back, and he comes up, and he's, like, got love eyes. He's, like all happy, and he had, like, tears in his eyes, like, so happy to see me. So I'm like, okay. Like, that's interesting. I thought maybe it's just, he's just happy to see me. He's just emotional. He's just happy to see me. And then, so I see him that night, and I go, hey, like, just friends. Like, do you want to go to the park and draw? And I thought, if he says he doesn't like drawing, I don't know what I'm going to come up with. He said, yeah, that would be fine. Yeah, I like doing that too. I thought, oh, this is great. Like, we can get together, hang out at the park. He had said some stuff, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's cool. So then, I come back another week, because I'm trying to figure out how we can set this thing up. And we were talking, and he says, let's exchange numbers. I'm like, great, that works. Oh, I left something out. Before we exchanged numbers, the whole night he was winking at me, and he was like all like extremely happy to have me there. He gave me like this big huge smile, and I know why. I know what I said, and it's like, looking back, I know what I said, and I know why he smiled like he did. I didn't realize what I was saying. It's actually kind of funny, but like at the same time, I'm like, oh, like, got me, So, oh, and the other thing I left out was, he was like really, like, he said something really nice to me, and like the first time first time back I saw him, and that was nice, you know. And then like this other night he was like all happy to see me and everything. And so then we exchanged numbers. And you know, we're talking about like he's like telling me his days off and all that. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then he tells me like, "Well, you know, like I live at this part, so I have to go up here. I have to do this and this." I'm like, "Okay." You know, but I didn't tell him where I live because you know, I mean, I still don't know him. You know, I'm not going to tell him where I live, but it turns out it's close to where I live. But I didn't tell him that. So, anyways, a couple days go by, and my mom is she was having these stents put in her heart. Excuse me, and something happened where they had to put in the third stint, but something happened where um, her kidneys started to shut down or something. She had like a heart attack at the hospital, and then her kidneys shut down. And like I had to tell him, you know, my mom's having a medical procedure, and I didn't want to like say anything else. It was really traumatic, you know, but I didn't want to make him feel like he had to see me or something. I didn't know what to do. I was like, we're not going to be able to get together for a while, you know, like I'm going to have to take care of her and everything. And he never wrote back. He never said like, oh, you know, like, I hope your mom pulls through or anything like that. He just totally ghosted me. He just cut me off. So I'm like, this is weird. Like, this is fucked up. Like, how can you not say I hope she pulls through or something, you know? So that really bothered me. And thankfully, I mean, me and my dad prayed. We prayed to God. We prayed Christian prayer. And my mom pulled through. It's a miracle. She's doing very well. She still has a few things she's recovering from, but she's really doing well. Knock wood, as she says. Knock wood. I'm double knocking wood. And so anyways, like I tell him, like, you know, I can see you. Yeah, since my mom was doing better, I could say, you know, like I could see you this day or this day, and then he still didn't get back to me. So I said, why don't we just call this thing off? It's like let's just call this off and see what happens. Like I was just kind of like, if I run into you again, I run into you again. And then like he still didn't say anything, and I wrote to him and said, you know, I'm gonna come in and see you. I said, you know, I think I am gonna come in and see you. So I go in and I see him. And he wouldn't even talk to me for 20 minutes. He had somebody else come out and take my order. And then he avoided me for 20 minutes. He was like, he did not want to see me. Usually, like, when he saw me, he would get on my order right away. But this time, he didn't want to see me. And then, like, he had come by, like, after 20 minutes, and he winked at me, but he looked like he was going to cry. I was like, that's interesting. So then, I'm sitting here, and I'm like, what's going on here, you know? And, so finally, he comes, and he's like, what do you want? Like, what drink you have here? You know, it was like, the drink that I had, and I was like, well, I want something different. You know, I want a different drink. So I asked him to make me a different drink. And unfortunately, there's some kind of infection, like, in my mouth. The dentist found it, but it's like a whole long process of trying to get the right doctor and all this stuff. So I have bad taste in my mouth, and I guess when I drink alcohol, sometimes it's like, it like carries the scent of the alcohol and the bad taste in my mouth. It's terrible. And like, there was like a lot of people, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, and then he was like, oh no, and I was like, oh no. It was bad. And I just left the drink, and I was like, so I had to call his name, and he was like, just running around. He didn't want to see me. I was like, hey, I want to pay my bill. So, he comes back, and I write it out, a credit card and everything. And so then after that, oh, I know. After I did that, he was walking away from me, and then he turned around and he was like, if you need anything like this, and he was crying, like crying and yelling at the same time. I'm like, what? And then he said, it's good to see you. He said my name. It's like, nice to see you again. Like he's trying to pull himself together. So this whole thing had started out very innocently and became very, very strange. And is even stranger now that I saw his pages. I never thought I would see his pages. I just assumed, well, I'm not going to see him probably, unless I bump into him somewhere. And I haven't seen, at least I don't think I've seen him. I thought I did see him, but it probably wasn't him. There was this guy I thought was him, and then I got a text message the next day. But it wasn't from his number, it was from some other number. So I blocked it because I didn't know what it was. I wasn't sure what it was. So, anyways, I don't know what's going on. But the thing I want to say is the girl that was in these pictures, like the girlfriend, that was the girl I saw in the park with him. So I wasn't hallucinating that. That was real. He was there at that park with this girl, who I have no idea who she is. I don't know I don't know. So it was very strange. And I was like, it's like, this is really getting bizarre. And I'm a spiritual person, and there's a lot I can take, but this is just really over the top. There were lots of signs and synchronicities. His name comes up a lot when I see TV now. Lots of football players, lots of baseball players. And then I realized, my name is Jessica. And there are lots of Jessicas. There's still people naming their kids Jessicas. Well, he is that kind of name. But like everybody's naming their kid that still. So it makes sense I'm hearing his name, and I'm just not going to really put any stock in it until I hear the person's name and I look up and it looks just like him. Then I'm going, oh, this is weird. And it's not him. It's like on TV. It's some football player or something, It's just really weird. And I'm like, the twin flame journey, from what I've heard, it's all about, like, you're with somebody who is like your polar opposite. The person that you would never expect to fall in love with. And then you separate. You go your separate ways. And then at some point you come back together after you have transformed. And I have transformed. I really have. I have become more spiritual. I wrote some really good poetry about my sexual feelings about him, but I felt it was so sacred that I was very clean about it. And I shared them on Instagram. I wrote about him on my blog. I don't know if he saw those things. That's possible that he saw that stuff and didn't like it. I have no idea. I really don't know. He never said anything. But I'm just like, it's like, this does seem like a twin flame thing. And then, of course, I asked my spirit guide, Lauren, who's been with me since birth. And she said, yep, that's your twin flame. And now, it's a natal chart here. See this X here? opposition, opposition. He's a Libra, right on the cusp. There's a Virgo here. And Venus. So, oh no, that's Chiron. I'm sorry. Here's the Venus. The Venus. It's all like backwards while I'm filming this. Venus, and then there's the Virgo, and there's a Saturn. That's like a lesson learned. So, also, one other thing I have to mention about this, she said we're twin flames. She said we're connected at the root chakra. We're one soul, but we're like connected at the root chakra, and then we're like split, like we're two humans. And she said that, and then I had this like past life regression, and I was like, this has got to stop. I've got to stop thinking about this guy. This has got to stop, and no more of this. And I've had these really intense dreams about him, real intense sexual dreams, very, very intense dreams. And sometimes like, well, maybe he is thinking about me. Because like I'll feel goosebumps, and I've heard that's another thing. Like if your twin flame is thinking about you, you get goosebumps. And I'll get goosebumps for no reason, And I'm like, this is weird. So, anyways, we're separate souls, we're separate people, but we're like connected in the soul, one soul. And I had a past life regression that we had done like a hand fasting ritual, which is like a marriage, but it was a controversial marriage. And it happened during a controversial time, and I don't want to really expand on it because it is very intense. But the point is, I was able to let it go with my magic. I was able to just let it go. And I was like, I let it go for both of us. Like, he doesn't ever have to even know about it or anything. I wanted to tell him anything. I mean, for all I know, he could be having past life flashbacks. But if you're a twin flame, you tend to have lots of lives together. This other one was like the most recent lives we had had. So that's why it came up. And that's where the ritual was, the hand fasting ritual was. It was very recent. So, this has just been a really intense journey, and I stopped drinking. I don't really have a desire to drink because, like, if I drink, then it cuts me off with spirit. And, I don't like that feeling. It's like the drinking dulls my senses. And also, my blood sugar was going up a lot because I kept drinking vodka. And vodka's made from potatoes. And potatoes also cause my blood sugar to go up. So, like, my blood sugar was high. And so, like, I've cut potatoes out of my diet and I've lost, like, 10 pounds. Just potatoes. Like, I eat sugar and I eat wheat and I eat those things and, I'm okay. My blood sugar is still a little high, but nothing like this. I mean, my blood sugar had been, like, in the 200s, and now it's more like 140, sometimes it's 120. And I take medicine to help with it, so not insulin, but like medicine, like metformin, that kind of thing. So, basically, this has been quite a journey, and like even if we never have a relationship, even if we never even have a friendship, at least I know it's like I'm not truly alone. There is another kindred spirit out there, and at some point we'll come home together. We'll like meet each other again, like either this life or another life or whatever. And it'll be nice, hopefully. I think he's lost. He doesn't want to be found. I think I don't even know if he's in the same state anymore. Like I have no idea where he is. I don't know. It's a mystery, to say the least. And it's just funny that he has a video of himself from 2014 rapping. I never would have expected that. That is very strange. Okay, so why did I say all that? I said that because if you print out your natal chart, it's astro.com. They have free ones. You put your name in, you put your information in, and it comes up and it gives you a natal chart. And you print it out. There's no excuse not to have your natal chart nowadays because you can just print it out for free, and it's nice. It has everything I need on it. Um, but seeing that X there like that, I would think if the X is in like, if part of it goes into the seventh house, that'd be like marriage and partnership, and that would be probably more letting you know that you would definitely have your relationship. Mine is a little vague. Now, my Venus sign is in an air sign, and he's an air sign. So, I mean, it could be a predictor of that, but I don't know. I This whole thing has been so strange. I don't even know if I'd want a relationship with him. I'm not even sure I want a friendship with him anymore. I don't know what I want. All I know is, like, I don't wish him any ill will, and I hope wherever he is, he's happy. And I, like, unconditionally love him. Like, like as a fellow human being. And I wish no ill will for his girlfriend either. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea, like, what's going on there. But my intent was not to break them up. I had no idea he had anybody. So, um, yeah, this journey has been really strange. I don't want people to think that they failed if the twin flame journey doesn't lead to union. And I know that it's possible mine won't lead to union. I think there's lots of factors that are very strange that happen here, and I'm not really looking for anything from him anymore. The past life regression I did really helped with that. Now I'm like, I think about him a little bit, but nothing too intense. Because I had very intense dreams about him before, and so I'm not really sure what I want from him. If I want anything from him, more like I just want him to be safe, be happy. Um, like I wish him and his girlfriend, wife, I don't know who she is, the best. And I hope that he's doing okay. And I look at my chart and I go, well, okay, there's those two oppositions. Those are relationships. Where else is there relationships? It's just now it's like look for groupings for like potential soulmates, like look in different houses that resonate more with me to find a person who's into the same stuff, I guess. It's something still that I have to figure out. Yeah, it's like raining outside, thundering. The light flashed real bright, so I guess I was right. I was right about that. The light is really bright in here now. Obviously, I guess I was supposed to say something here about this whole thing. If you're on a twin flame journey and you don't come to union, it's not the end of the world. And maybe there's supposed to be some kind of great ripple effect that happens when people do come into union. But I have another video where I talk about this. I think we can get the same effect if people where soulmates get together and have loving relationships. You can get the same effect. You don't have to be with your twin flame to radiate beauty and kindness in the world. You can be with a soulmate. And if you're with a twin flame, you are a soulmate anyways. You know, whether you're just friends or you're lovers, whatever, you're a soulmate anyways. So, I mean, whether it's a twin flame or just a regular soulmate, it shouldn't matter. I sacrificed a lot to be here, like to live, and so you know, like I'm ready to be with somebody, but not if it's like breaking people up, breaking up a couple, or you know, nothing like that. That's not right. That's bad karma to like wish that kind of thing. And I don't know anything about her. I don't know. I don't know how she treats him. I don't know how he treats her. I don't know. I don't know him really at all. You know. So I think like a lot of people get into this thing. They get into this thing of like, well, they're in a karmic relationship, and like he's got to leave her, and everybody is karma. Everybody's karma, and they're not. They're not. You're not immune to anything. You know, it's not like you're immune to it. I mean, if you're sitting there wishing somebody to break up, it's just gonna come back on you, no matter whether they're twin flame or not. You know, and then even if you're with them, I mean, you have to know whether they're still with somebody or not. If they're gonna like see you on the side, you deserve better than that. It doesn't matter whether they're twin flame or not. So, you know, this situation has really made me think this is beyond anything I understand, and it was fated for us to meet. I really believe that. And maybe it was just to help him get out of the pain, maybe from that past life, you know. Maybe that was something that was in him and he didn't realize it was there. And I kind of like helped him out of it. Somehow I nurtured him out of it. I don't know how. But now, you know, there's peace, I think. So, that was a long story. But that's my twin flame journey. And if you like this video, please like. If you don't like it, dislike. If you have comments, please be respectful. If you like my videos, you like this one especially, because I have more like this, then please subscribe to my channel. Sketchwriter Jess on Instagram and on most platforms. I'm also, I have a blog, sketchwriterjess.com, and I post some of my pick a card readings on there. I'm planning on having the more astrological readings like starting in September, and they're moon based. So I'm like planning on having them at the phases of the moon. So I hope to see you next time. I hope this was interesting to you. It was certainly a wild ride for me recounting all this. Okay, I'll see you next time.